we always are talking about love and relationships, and it just seems like we might need a itty bitty little bit of help when it comes to the LOVE. So what would be better than having an actual matchmaker on the pod? Yes, we did. We got Matchmaker Maria, who is the CEO of Agape Match and is an award-winning matchmaker service based out of NYC, where I live, ride or die, and is the host of a dating and relationship podcast, Ask a Matchmaker. Hey, babe, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I mean, we need you. It's imperative. We need love on the line, and I think you are here to help us.
Dating is broken. I get it.
Can you tell us, how does matchmaking actually work, and how did you get so good at it?
Ooh, matchmaking is very old world, isn't it? Like when someone hears that there's a matchmaker, they're like, people do that. And yes, they do. The short story is that I'm a third, fourth generation matchmaker.
Oh my God. So you're a Nepo matchmaker?
Yes. I've never heard anyone call it that, but I will take it. I am a Nepo matchmaker. Although my grandmother, when she did it, she got paid in goat milk.
Okay.
And it was people in her village, like people she knew. So how it works is someone contacts me and they're like, I don't want to swipe away my soulmate, so I'm going to hire you. And that's what I do. I vet people, I interview people, I try to learn more about their core values and their lifestyle. And if I think they're a match for my client, I set up the date. And not only do I set up their date, I book the date. I book their first and second day, and I collect feedback after each date.
Is there a pool of people, kind of like how a dating app would be? Is there just a pool of people and then you kind of just crisscross applesauce everybody together?
So if you go on my website, agapematch.com, you could join a database for free. So you could be considered in that pool of matches where I can consider you for one of my clients.
Okay. So do you think, as somebody who's been on the apps, unfortunately, I do think that just paying a little bit more does help eliminate the riffraff. But then that's why you come in, because just because somebody pays, that doesn't mean that they're not an asshole or a loser or mean.
Right. In this case, you have kind of a mom in the middle, and that's me. So, it's like, okay, kids, be good on this date. I'm going to find out after what you did. And the cool thing about receiving feedback after each date is that I get to go back to my client and be like, hey, you need to take off your Apple Watch before you go on dates, because whoever's texting you, you keep looking at your phone because of your notifications, and that person thinks you want to leave when I know you just had a really great time because you told me in your feedback that this was the best date you ever went on.
Hey, I love that. I was just about to ask you, so what makes you stand out amongst the other matchmakers?
I think it's my attitude. So I give a lot of dating advice online for free, right? So on my Instagram and on my podcast, there's just a lot of content there. So if someone wants to do that, they can. And there's this one dating method that is really popular that I've put out on Instagram called the 12 date rule method. And I started counting maybe in 2018, but since then it's 4,000 people have reached out to me to tell me they got engaged using this method, and they've never paid me anything, not a single dollar.
So they owe you royalties.
You doing this for the community.
Yeah, it's called the 12 date rule method. And, people, especially men, they love it. Takes 2 weeks, and it just gets rid of a lot of that, what you called it, a riffraff. When you take away the centering of physical intimacy off the table for a couple of weeks, and you're just trying to see, am I emotionally compatible to you? Do I actually like you, or do I just want you to like me? When you start to recenter what long-term compatibility is supposed to look like, it looks really different. I actually have merch now that says 12 date rule bride. There are women wearing tank tops that say 12 DR bride because they believe in this.
Okay, but what's the top line of this 12 date rule?
So you need to have 12 interactions before getting intimate, and
12
or
dates,
12
okay.
dates. But hold on, I've got Matchmaker Maria date math.
Hey, come on with it.
So a date for me is anything that is a video call, an audio call, or an in-person date. That's a minimum of 20 minutes, maximum of 3 hours. And you can have up to 2 dates in one day. So, if you go on an 8-hour marathon date, that still counts for 2 dates. And 3 of those 12 dates have to be in person. And you know what this does for a lot of people? It does two things. One, you notice texting is not dating. It counts for nothing. You can text someone all day. It doesn't mean shit. And then number two, you get to see like, hey, I want to have a FaceTime call with you. I want to have a phone call with you. Are they getting on the call with you? Are they FaceTiming? Because if they're not, that's a sign. And I know this is like a little bit centered towards women, but like the guy who like wants to get to know you, he's getting on the phone. He's FaceTiming.
That's a fact. I feel like a phone call, video call, that's like, yo, babe, you want to go back to the 80s with me real quick? Let's see if you're going to go back in time with me and pick up the phone call and spend 2 hours or an hour or 30 minutes on the phone, which is like so rare these days.
Two things about that. Number one, exactly what you said. It's so rare. Open up your call log right now. Use your little paw and tell me about the last call you were on that was more than 20 minutes. It was probably someone you cared about, not including customer service with, Verizon or whatever. And number two, yeah, it is like dating in the 80s, because think about our parents for a second. When they dated, they weren't using online dating. They met in third spaces through their friends, through their church, through their communities, through a cousin's barbecues, graduation party, whatever. So by doing that in that space, you already had some commonality you could count on. Now we don't have that with online dating. You're just meeting strangers who are in your zip code.
Some of us are doing the long distance, but yeah.